The Last Stand update, only on PC, not for Xbox, is officially out after an 8-year dry spell of technically official content from Valve when Coldstream released all the way back in July of 2012. After a few trailers that hyped up its release from the channel Jays and its developers, and tons of speculation from multiple sources, we finally have some new content that isn't from the Steam Workshop, but was made by the fans for the fans, hosting a plethora of gameplay changes, fixes, new additions, and of course, a whole new campaign. So, what are my thoughts, opinions, likes, and dislikes with The Last Stand? Well, let's find out. I gotta say, I was thoroughly impressed and proud of the dev team behind this project. The new campaign being based on the first and singular map from Left 4 Dead's first ever update being expanded and given an explorable environment to go and fight the infected through. Planes crashing, exploring abandoned buildings, and reutilizing a survival map as a finale works pretty well for the Left 4 Dead franchise. It was a short campaign only lasting 2 chapters, but unlike the train wreck that was Crash Course, the long and winding levels actually were fun to navigate and didn't feel too redundant. With some choke points and drop-offs and winding routes that were a bit confusing at first, but offered sometimes rewarding supplies if you went out of your way from the beaten path, although it was kinda easy to get lost here and there. Going into the junkyard and dropping the freight was pretty fun and caught us off surprise. Okay, but I enjoyed the environments that we went through. I don't want to spoil you too much, but the map was fun. The finale was a difficult but interesting hybrid, going from a run-of-the-mill regular survive until a tank spawns finale. I hope I don't get punched off the cliff here. To the fill up a generator with 8 gas cans in order to spawn 2 more tanks to kill, sacrifice/passing style, even kind of reminded me of the dev team's last endeavor in the Dark Carnival Remix campaign, with flashing gens to alert new campaign players to this new goal, with even a new metal remix of the music track for the tank that really got me jamming. The ending was a nice separate canon for longtime Left 4 Dead fans, but again, I don't want to spoil you too much so you can enjoy it for yourself. With that being said, there were things brought to the game that gave some quality of life improvements and small tidbits to toy around with, bringing back the Left 4 Dead aesthetics for the infected, from the commons to the smoker, hunter, boomer, and tanks for Left 4 Dead 1 maps, making them darker and more grittier, and the environments a lot more darker, with increased gore mods to up the juiciness factor of killing the infected. The unused voice lines of the survivors were fun to hear scouring through the new map as well, and gave for a good chuckle, even though Workshop users have probably already heard them before. The 2 new melee weapons, the shovel and pitchfork, are fun and nice to mess around with, and I love that they were included. However, other melee weapons having further reach and speed will make them fall to the wayside over time, but still are a very fun joy to use. The imported weapons from Counter-Strike that were officially exclusive to German copies of the game due to censored gore, and put on modded servers and campaigns later on, are now readily available to all common servers and gameplay. And while a lot of them are pretty weak, these weapons not doing that much damage, I love the SMG and scoped assault rifle. They felt so meaty and fun to use. They also updated the models of all old weapons in the game, making them nice to look at and fun to use as well, with even some variations of the weapons thrown in. A lot of good old eye candy for longtime players to enjoy. All in all, a bunch of small stuff that adds up to a fresh new experience for longtime fans who never let the game go, or for people that dropped the game a while back and were looking for a reason to play Left 4 Dead again, even if the workshop already exists and we can pretty much do anything we want to the game. Or if you're like me, a longtime Xbox player who needed that last push to play PC wholly, well, it is completely worth it, especially again with the workshop existing. Versus got some new updates as well. While The Last Stand can be pretty damn hard to get through Versus if each team knows what they are doing, especially considering how easy it is to spawn in from just about anywhere and continuously rock the survivors' worlds, even very early on in these long chapters. It does feel a bit fair and balanced now. I was really surprised by the new mini areas that you can spawn infected in without having to worry about line of sight from the survivors. Usually in Left 4 Dead Versus, even if you hide in the shrubbery of a dense cluster of trees, survivors would still technically have line of sight of you, meaning you would have to find a solid obstacle to get behind in order to spawn. making maps like Blood Harvest kind of hard for infected to figure out where to attack from. Now, you'll see these cautionary areas like circles around trees, where you can now spawn without worrying about line of sight, so infected like the Boomer can more easily get the drop on survivors and make for a more intense match of versus. While this annoyed me at first, it's something that was much needed and gives newcomers an easier time to spawn and gives more opportunities to attack survivors and coordinate with infected teammates. The infected are so much more fun to play as now. Infected like the Spitter, Jockey, and especially Charger are fun to play as just for their aesthetic alone, because while you run around, they have these new animations, and the way they run around, it's cool to look at. I mean, look at the Charger's left arm, it's just dangling there, it's just a little dangler. Oh my god, that's so cool. When you're Charger, you could see your hand dangle. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Well, I have my
so
FOV
cool.
out farther, so I can see the arm dangle even
so
more
fucking
because
good.
I'm pushed out.
Why was this
That's
not
funny.
a thing? I love it. Just these little touches really show how much they cared about this project. I freaking love it. The new guns, the new melee weapons, the 30 new survival maps, the new scavenge maps. I haven't played everything. I want to. I will get to it eventually, but I had to get this review out there. Just the aesthetics of everything, just even the slight animations, like when you pick up a survivor, they get up faster. That way the Spitter isn't an immediate death sentence if you get charged or hunted. But there is some complaints I do have to say about it. My biggest complaint was, now, don't hold a grudge against me or judge me for this, but I play most PC games on an Xbox controller. Yes, I know, crucify me, whatever you want to do in the comments. But with this new update, controller support got really janky. I played on the controller numerous times before doing the Last Stand update, and even the day before release, and I had no issues just plugging in and playing. But with the new update came a few problems. Toggling to crouch was now not an option, so crouching was a bitch. Switching weapons now meant you switched between all of your supplies one by one instead of just using the D-pad to get to your grenades and other supplies. So if you wanted to switch to your melee weapon quickly or go back to your gun, now you had to cycle through the health pack, the Molotov, the pills. It was really annoying and can really screw you over in intense situations that immediately need your reaction time. But there's also the sensitivity that got reverted back, but you can quickly fix that. But when you first enter the game, it can be kind of annoying. It didn't seem like you could fix these issues in the settings either. The toggle to crouch, I could not find that anywhere. And when you need to crouch in order to better aim and you have to hold your crouch, it can be really annoying. So hopefully they will fix these issues for controller users. Also, I would recommend uninstalling any mods you have, as you don't know or not if they may interfere with this new content. As I had a very minor issue where I had this weird reticle take up my screen until I went and disabled all the mods from my computer. Also, apparently I didn't experience this myself, but my roommate Ven did and someone else in the comment section did. Apparently the Last Stand is extremely dark, and no matter how much you increase the brightness, it could still be really dark and hard to see infected and other obstacles in the way. So hopefully they fix that and increase the brightness. But nothing too big after that. Besides that, I really enjoyed it. I haven't tried out the 30 plus survival maps that they have added or done any new scavenge, and I'm really excited to try out the 2 new mutations, considering Rocket Man gives people grenade launchers with crazy physics. I really want to try that. I'm excited to see what else officially is out. I thoroughly enjoyed what this dev team have put together. It was a Left 4 Dead fan's dream to experience everything this update had to offer, and was a love letter of a collaboration of Valve and its fans that thoroughly shines through, even though to some it might seem a bit understandably shallow after just a few hours. It is a bright light at the end of an 8-year-long tunnel that could open up the doors to more Left 4 Dead 2 content in the future. And I'm all for it. It's out now on Steam for free, and you might need to restart the Steam app for the 300 megabyte update to go through. But it's so worth it. Plus, the game is free to play for this weekend only, and afterwards, it's pretty cheap to buy. I would recommend buying it because it's a really great game with the workshop and everything else. Now, the update, again, doesn't seem to have any chance of coming to Xbox 360 or the Xbox One's backwards compatibility. So please do not spam Valve or the developers or streamers to make 360 happen. It would take a lot of effort just to put it on something that is the lesser format. Even though I play on Xbox a lot, I'm not going to harass them about this. They worked hard on this for nearly a year and deserve nothing but praise for this fantastic addition to the Left 4 Dead franchise. Just please, for the love of God, please do something about controller support. It did diminish a little bit of my enjoyment today, but besides that, I've loved everything else. Please fix Xbox controllers. Now, if you don't mind, I have some more Left 4 Dead 2 to play. Thanks to my donators for helping out with the channel's continued support, and check out my other videos and my other channel where I post Left 4 Dead content quite regularly now, called Wowsage Gaming Streams, or WS Streams for short. Peace, love, and wow to you all, and stay wow.